Today, I'm travelling with the airline of the Canary Islands, Binter Canarias, on a journey that'll take me from lush green volcanic landscapes to pristine white sand beaches. Sit back and relax as I take you from Tenerife North Airport over to Fuerteventura on the ATR72 600. Our journey begins on the island of Tenerife. And I'm in the town of Puerto de la Cruz, which sits on the north coast of Tenerife. Puerto de la Cruz was the first tourist resort on the island. There's been some form of tourism here since the late 1800s, but it really began to be redeveloped in the 1950s. The town's played host to some famous visitors as well in the past, including the novelist Agatha Christie in 1927 and the Beatles in 1963. Nowadays, Puerto de la Cruz blends old world charm with tourism, featuring picturesque plazas, historical colonial architecture, and the stunning Lago Martinez, a seawater pool complex designed by the painter, sculptor, and architect Cesar Manrique. The town sits in the lush green Orotava Valley, with the imposing Mount Teide providing a stunning backdrop. Despite its growth, the town retains a laid-back, authentic Canarian atmosphere. A couple of months ago I took a flight from Gran Canaria to Fuerteventura with Canary Fly. They're an airline based here and they operate solely between the islands, but in this video I'm going to be taking a flight from Tenerife North Airport over to Fuerteventura with Binter, who are the airline of the Canary Islands. Not only do Binter operate inter-island flights, but they also offer flights to the likes of Spain, Morocco, Mauritania, and the other Atlantic islands like Funchal in Madeira and over to the Azores. So I'm really interested to see what Binter have to offer today. So let's get over to the airport. To the airport. Grabbing my bag and heading for the door. Tenerife North Airport is 27 kilometres from Puerto de la Cruz, and it takes around 20 to 30 minutes on the TF5 motorway to reach the airport, depending on traffic. The airport is right next to the motorway, and I was dropped off in front of the terminal building, which was built back in 2002. The airport was busy. I was expecting a really quiet island airport, but Tenerife North serves over 6 million passengers a year, which is pretty impressive for a largely domestic airport. That said, the check-in area for Binter, seen here on the right, and security too, were incredibly quiet, and I was airside in a matter of minutes. It only took me about 5 minutes to check in and get through security, so there's no need to get to Tenerife North Airport early. I think I got here maybe about an hour before my flight, and that's plenty of time to get through. After security, there's two sets of gates. The A gates are directly after security, which is where inter-island flights depart from, whereas upstairs you'll find the B gates, used for international flights and flights over to the Spanish mainland. You'll also find duty-free as well as several places to eat upstairs, although at 11 AM on a Sunday morning these were all closed. Downstairs by the A gates there were a couple of places to grab a snack or a cup of coffee. A quick look at the departure board, and most flights are domestic, heading over to neighbouring islands or the mainland. The notable difference here is the 12:20 departure to Caracas, Venezuela, on Spanish carrier Plus Ultra, who operate this transatlantic route using Airbus A330s. I didn't have much time to explore the airport, nor was there much of it to explore, to be honest. The only airfield view I could get was to see this Binter ATR pushing itself back for the short hop over to the island of El Hierro. So the plane has arrived from the neighbouring island of La Gomera, so I expect boarding will begin in the next couple of minutes. These flights, they operate like buses. People get off, people get on, and you're only on them for about half an hour. Boarding for our 11:30 departure began at around 11:05 through gate A5. There was no announcements either, people just walked up to the agent and got on. From there we were bussed to our aircraft. This took us around the airfield, which is infamous for being the location of the deadliest accident in aviation history, when two Boeing 747s, one operated by Pan Am and another by KLM, collided on the runway in thick fog on March the 27th, 1977, killing 583 people. There was no thick fog this morning, but I'd be lying if I said this incident didn't cross my mind as the bus snaked its way to the aircraft. Anyway, that's enough talk about plane crashes as I'm about to board one. The bus doors opened and I'm greeted with our aircraft today, EC-MTQ, an ATR72-600 which was delivered brand new to Binter in December 2017. Stepping on board at the rear of the aircraft, it seats 70 in a comfy 2-2 all-economy configuration. I walk to the front of the aircraft, taking my seat 6A. It's a slimline leather seat with decent legroom for a regional hop, a literature pocket, single foldable tray table, and a perfectly aligned window that had a great view of the Plus Ultra A330 that was preparing to head to Caracas, Venezuela. No scratched window here. Take note, Canary fly. It can get pretty warm in this part of the world, and even though it was March, temperatures outside were in the low to mid-20s, which is a blistering hot summer's day for a Yorkshireman like myself, so there are air vents above the seat. Under the seat in front though, the alignment of the seat legs is a bit annoying, especially if you have a bag to go under and also a seatmate, but there is always space in the overhead bins. I didn't have to worry as my flight was about 50% loaded that morning, with most choosing to sit at the back of the aircraft closest to the doors too. In the literature pocket was a magazine. It was all in Spanish, but then again it is a Spanish regional carrier. I did find their destination map, which largely covers the Iberian Peninsula, West Africa and the Atlantic Islands of the Azores and Madeira. At bang on 11:30 the propellers sputtered into life and we did the unique ATR self-pushback before taxiing along to runway 12 for departure. It seemed like a fairly long taxi down to the runway 2, having to pause to wait for two Binter ATRs to land before being allowed to take off ourselves.
Está provisto de una luz de posición que se activa en contacto con el agua. To inflate it, pull the red knob but never inside the aircraft. If necessary, you can inflate it by blowing into the sideshow. It is provided with an automatic light, activated in contact with water. Millas abiertas en despegue y aterrizaje. In case of evacuation, you must leave your hand luggage on board. Please follow all the instructions given by the crew and signs or placards during the whole flight. Likewise, the window blinds have to be open during takeoff and landing. Muchas gracias por su atención y por favor consúltenos si tienen alguna duda. Thank you very much for your attention, and if you have any question, please let us know.
We got great views of the city of San Cristobal de la Laguna and Santa Cruz de Tenerife, the island capital. Our routing today would take us east over the ocean, with the north coast of Gran Canaria in the distance, before crossing the island of Fuerteventura and hugging its southern and eastern coastlines before landing on runway 1. Estimated flight time for today's flight was 40 minutes at a cruising altitude of 11,000 feet. Shortly after takeoff, and with Tenerife still in view, the very friendly cabin crew sprung into action and began a complimentary in-flight service. Yes, you heard that right, complimentary. Handed out were chocolate wafer biscuits and cups of water, which I thought was incredible for a flight of only 40 minutes. You won't get this on some 3 or 4 hour flights with the likes of British Airways. Service was topped off with little sweets and a hand wipe handed out too. Top marks to Binter for this, it was a really nice touch. My flight with Canary Fly was so short I didn't get the chance to go to the loo, but here it is. Just one located at the back of the plane, and Jesus wept, it's a tight squeeze. There really wasn't much room to move about in there, but by now the seatbelt sign had come on, so I made my way back to my seat as we started our descent down into Fuerteventura. The descent gave great views over the barren landscape. It was a far cry from the lush green volcanic hillsides of the north of Tenerife as we made a smooth touchdown on runway 1.
Señoras y señores pasajeros, bienvenidos a Fuerteventura.
Touchdown was followed by a short taxi over to the stand. Fuerteventura was starting to get busy with lunchtime arrivals, the apron having a mix of British Airways, Jet2, Ryanair, TUI and Corendon aircraft. We were on stand for 12:15, giving a flight time today of just 35 minutes. Getting off the plane and again into a bus for the quick drive over to the terminal. From the bus though, I got one last look at the plane, which was due to head back over to Tenerife North. From getting dropped off, it was just a short climb up a flight of steps into the baggage hall where lo and behold, my bag was already there waiting for me. Very efficient getting through Fuerteventura Airport that morning. Hello from Handia in the southern tip of Fuerteventura. It was a fantastic flight that I had with Binter this morning. Let's sum it up. So, Binter Canarias. They're a fantastic little regional airline offering comfy, clean cabins. The crew gave service with a smile, and a complimentary service on these short inter-island hops is a really nice touch. I paid a total of €89 one way for this flight, which included checked baggage. This was more expensive than my previous flight with Canary Fly, but I think the earlier you book, the cheaper it is, and for residents of the islands, they get special discounted fares too. I booked around 2 weeks before flying, and all things considered, I'd definitely fly with them again between the islands or even over to the Spanish mainland. If you've enjoyed this video, drop me a like, hit the subscribe button and let me know what your thoughts on Binter were if you've flown with them before. Thanks for watching, see you again soon.